Hey there, it's Alwyn, better known as the voice behind Averin, with a word from our sponsor. This session brought to you in part by Fiverr, the best place to find freelance services for your business. Whether you're in the market for commissioned art, or even script writing, which I probably should have utilized prior to recording this so I didn't have to do it 6 times, you can find on Fiverr. It's a whole world of freelance available right at your fingertips, with options for every budget. Find high-quality services at every price point, no hourly rates, and just project-based pricing. You'll find quality work done quickly, with the right freelancer to begin working on your project within minutes. Your payments are protected, every time. Always know what you'll pay up front, and your payment isn't released until you approve the work. And know that Fiverr has your back with 24/7 support. Not in the market for services, but looking to augment your own income? Fiverr is powered by freelance artists just like you. So sign up today at Fiverr.com. That's Fiverr.com.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
Welcome to the world of Saluna.
Hello and welcome to Queers and Spears presents the Cap Creek Chronicles, a side quest series of 1v1s for our side quest campaign, Fodum Sept. Here we will explore the small town of Cap Creek on our heroes' first night together on their journeys. The night falls on the creek as the sounds of bugs and frogs sing along to the steady babbling of the creek. And we find ourselves in the accommodations that were provided to the party by Thorpe, the ranger, who is kind of in charge here at Cap Creek. And we find ourselves fast asleep. And we find ourselves amongst a few of our snoring patrons, and one of those is our friend Click Clack.
Hello.
Click Clack, after a long and exhausting day, having some food that didn't quite sit right with with your stomach, and we're kind of recovering and discovering that all of this is happening, that there's a little bit more to the depth of what's going on here in the forest. You decided to sleep it off for the night after spending what you know is the first of many nights that you will be spending away from your young son, Beep. And as you start to drift off into slumber, you start to feel lighter and lighter as the sheets and the bed that you've created, this bundle of pillows and blankets that kind of resemble a little bit of a nest. You become lighter and lighter, heavier and heavier. As your vision goes black, your eyes are closed, and you feel weightless in this moment. just like before during the day when you were ricocheted into the air and felt a moment of peace and serenity of weightlessness high up in the air, you feel this now in your dreams. In this moment, you are presented with a series of moments in your life that are meaningful and represent who Click Clack is today. Moments that are consistently repeated in Click Clack's head as bigger moments in your life. You see before you the small cult that you were once a part of, the cult of Siphon. People of all species and all sizes run around seemingly happy, enjoying their time because they are provided for under the care of Bishop Judith and under the care of Siphon, this all-knowing God who is providing for you through Bishop Judith. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
All right. What is my perception? That's a good question. Ooh, that's not that great. Yeah, that's a 6.
6. That's still good enough. This is a place in which Click Clack that you are familiar with. This cult is something you clung to and stuck with because they continue to provide. Yes, it was, scary in certain points, and there were some questionable moments, but there was a sense of security that you would be provided for, and above all else, there was a sense of something that was keeping you here. And even on a 6 perception, as you look around onto the faces of all of these people who your face and your eyes lock onto the one person you know very well, Tink.
My wife.
Go ahead and give me, in this moment, an insight check before we move forward.
That's an 8.
8. With an 8, this is a self-insight check. You are kind of, in this moment, Tink, that Tink, you don't have Tink in your home at this moment. You don't know where she is exactly or her state at this as well. So you kind of recognize that you could be dreaming in this moment, but it is also an opportunity that you see Pink in front of you, that it seems like she is here in the flesh, that you could go up, that you could hug her, that you could talk to her.
I am absolutely going to go up to my wife. I haven't seen her in so long.
You run through the crowds of people, and as you start to get closer, your footsteps hitting the wet ground underneath you, she locks eyes with you. You see her feathers, dark and black like yours, that reach an emerald green towards her wingtips, with puffs of white up on her chest and underneath her neck. She immediately starts to puff up, and she drops what she's got in her hands. She's got just a couple of roots and berries and things that she's collected from the rations office here within your little commune. And she drops it up, and she starts clacking her beak in excitement, and she comes up and she embraces you and just nuzzles her face and beak into the side of your neck as you both just hold each other in this moment.
Click Clack is just going to quietly say, "Miss you."
You hear immediately back afterwards a "miss you." And she pulls away from you and smiles, and she's like, she bends down and she realizes that she has some things she wants to show you. So she picks down those little berries and those little roots and the little basket that she had with her, and she comes up to you and she's like, "I have things." And she shows what's the contents of her basket, indeed, with some roots and some like little like patches and bundles of berries and things. Berries that you recognize from the berries that are your son's favorite berries. And little white wildflowers that she's picked, a little bundle of them as well, that is just in that little basket.
Click Clack gets a little teary-eyed, seeing the berries and the flowers.
She kind of cocks her head a little bit. Go ahead and give me an insight check.
That's not 20.
Oh, baby. I love this. Perfect moment. Okay. So, in this moment, Click Clack, I think, sees in Tink the same love that was there within that moment. That Tink is looking upon a Click Clack that has just come home from the day, like he always does. Always comes home from his moments out in the forest, collecting things for the commune, collecting things for the home, collecting things for their young son. And in this moment, you see a just deep empathy and a deep, like, love as she moves her hands up to your cheek and kind of, like, wipes away the little tears that are forming in your eyes. And you feel like in this moment, as much as it means for you to be here in this moment with your wife, that this is an everyday love that you experienced with her.
Click Clack is going to kiss her.
She kisses you back. She holds on to you so deeply, and she, like, just is there and loving you and lets you kiss her for as long as you feel like you need in this moment. And when you break away and look into her eyes, it's just nothing but stars in her eyes. And she just admires you, and she's like, "Home?"
Home.
She takes your hand, start walking. And as you start to walk, you feel the environment around you start to shift and change, but you're still holding on to your wife's hand. You hear distant commotion, distant things, distant memories, things that Click Clack doesn't like to remember, but things that happen to Click Clack as we move from one good memory to the next good memory. As the environment starts to shift and change, it's slowly a forest, deep and thick, surrounded by flowers, as you and Tink are approaching a small cabin in the woods. Your second home. Your home away from the commune. The one you built together. She starts to lead you up to the front door, kind of pulling you along. and she opens the front door, and you are immediately greeted with the very young face of your son Beep. Couldn't be much older than a year at this point.
My little boy.
You watch as immediately as Tink enters the door, forgets about the things that are in her basket, places them off to the side of the door, the main entry, on the floor, embracing your son as he is just wide armed, stretching towards his mom, just mom, 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 and just coming over and just squeezing her as they just chitter and love on each other. And just she picks him up, fully embracing him, and turns around to you.
He's gonna go up and he's gonna hug both of them real tight.
You become the other slice of bread on this beautiful family sandwich, and you come and embrace both of them, and you hear, as you start to nuzzle into both of them, Beep whisper into your ear Dad, Dad, as he's just as excited for both of his parents to be here, as he is truly a fluffy ball of feathers at this point. He is so ecstatic every single time that his family comes home. As the hug holds for as long as it feels, you break away in this moment. He puts Beep down. He starts to immediately run over and start to play with some toys. And in this moment, as well as you're watching your young son and Beep and everything, this is before he started to show signs that he was sick, that there was something wrong. It was always a little bit smaller than you would imagine a young fledgling to be, but you always just thought, hey, he's just a little guy, he'll grow up, he'll be a big boy one day, he'll be a big bird. This is before all of that. So you see a young, healthy little boy, a future in front of you, a home, security.
Oh, this is gonna get so painful.
We've only just begun, my friends.
I know.
I'm already holding it in. Okay. In this moment, what do you feel like Claire would want to do? You've recognized with that amazing nat 20 before, this is a dream, that you're kind of passing through memories in your life, but it seems like you have full interaction and full ability to speak, to talk, to embrace, to love here in these moments while you have them.
I think Click Clack is gonna take this chance. He's gonna hug his wife again. He wants to, play with his son. Just things that he can treasure while he can. Because he knows what's coming. He doesn't want to know what's coming. But he does. So he just wants to hold on for as long as he can.
Ouch. You walk in further into your home, shut your door behind you. You see all of the trinkets that you and your wife have collected over the years. It's been probably about a year and a half or so since you and your wife have left the commune for good. You left to start a better life for you and your unborn son, your unborn child. You wanted something better than what you had, the monotony of what you had. And what you have now is surrounded in beautiful little things that you found, that your wife found, that your son found out in the forest, all throughout. simple things that fill your home with absolute pleasure and joy. And it's not even about the riches at this point. The riches are here with the people that you have surrounded yourself with. You sit on the floor with your wife on an old rug that was stitched together with fabrics that were torn apart and kind of woven together by hand, by Tink, as you watch your son play with wooden toys that you carved out yourself. And you just sit in these moments for as long as they can, enjoying every movement, every choice, every new discovery by your son, every laugh your wife lets out, every touch, every hug. As the sun starts to set behind you, you feel the environment around you starting to fade.
I don't want to go.
No one wants to move away from these moments. These beautiful moments, these memories that still are here in your dreams and in your mind. These beautiful little things that are real. Just because it's in a dream doesn't mean it was not real. These moments are real, tangible things. Those little items, those cars, those toys are still at home for your son to enjoy, and they still hold those memories. And as you sit here and you think back to still seeing those toys in your own home, just in a different light, in a different time, as the sun fades behind you, holding on to these good moments, your wife and your son, your wife comes up and picks up young Beep to put him off to bed, placing him down in the room next to yours, coming to get you for a full night's sleep, as you always do. And you've lived here in this home for a while, over a year now, just over a year. You had it pretty much fully constructed by the time Beep was born. It's comfortable here, it's cozy here. But it wasn't far enough away from the cult. And as you move into the next memory, the night is still dark. The candles are out in your house. And the house is silent. Beep, you're standing alone in your living room. Give me a perception check, please.
Don't need a perception check to know that you just accidentally called me Beep.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Click clack. I'm so wrapped up in all these emotions, okay? I'm trying not to lose it.
Oh, it's okay. That's a 19 perception.
That's a beautiful perception, not Beep. Click clack. Click clack. Okay. On a 19 perception, you are looking around your house. It's quiet. It's dark. Your front door, your dining room set is scattered on the floor, upside down, broken, all over the place. Pots shattered. The carpet, the rug, destroyed. You recognize this memory on a 19 as the night that Tink was taken from you. As you're standing here in the aftermath of the memory, your mind, blacking out most of the horrific parts, the fighting, pleading, the struggle. Only things that remain of those moments are shadows whisper that pass in front of you like a play that you can't interact with. You see red cloaked figures as they knock over everything. You watch as your wife run into the back as a shadow of you tries to stop and hold back as your wife runs back to hide your young son in the hiding spot you created for this very moment. You watch as the shadow of yourself is knocked to the floor. You can still feel the bump on your own head in this moment, the searing pain from getting knocked down. You watch the shadow of yourself unable to get up, as much as you now standing over yourself, begging yourself to get up, even though you know in that moment there was nothing you could do. You were not strong enough. As you watch these cloaked figures drag Tink out of your home, kicking and screaming into the night as it fades off into the distance. What would you like to do in this moment, Click Clack? You know that your son is currently in the hiding spot that you built into this cabin to hide your son in case you were found.
He's gonna go check on his boy.
You run
Really make
into
sure that he's okay.
You run into your room, feeling the freedom of this moment, this protective parental feeling to make sure your son is okay. You know your wife is somewhere, but your son, you need to make sure he's fine. You go rush into your room, see your bed is slightly askew. You know that if you continue to push your bed a little bit further, there's a hatch underneath that bed. You know your wife was a little bit stronger than you, but I'm going to go ahead and need an athletics check to go ahead and move this bed.
That's a 7.
With a 7, you heave and you push with all of your bodily strength. This overwhelming feeling of just like it's like parental strength, mama bear strength, dad strength, where just like you need to get this thing moved as you just push and heave with all of your might. And still with a 7, you're able to push and carry this bed across the wooden floors that you built, and you open up the hatch door and see your young, shaking 2-year-old son wrapped up in a little blue blanket, wearing matching blue pajamas. As he stares up at you,
Uh, 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 Click Clack is gonna hug him, and he's gonna tell him it's gonna be okay.
you reach down into this little cubby in the floor, hoist him up into your arms, and feel Beep just fall deep into you, the feeling of safety and security with a parent. No longer alone, but has his father here. As you say, it's all going to be okay. And he is quiet in this moment, but you feel him nuzzle up into you. after a long silence of just sitting in this moment, he looks up and asks, "Mom?"
Mom home soon.
He kind of nods his head and just digs himself deeper into you, holding on to the one thing he can in this moment. As the world and environment once again around you shifts and moves and changes. The sun rises in the morning. You find yourself still holding your son, no longer 2, now 4, older. Your environment has shifted to not your next house, because you've learned your lesson to not stay in one place for too long anymore. No. This is your, 12th, 13th home? Move as often as you feel like you can, as you're able to. The more comfortable you feel in a moment, the more ready you are to move to a new location. But still, the same little things continue to stay. Some trinkets from you, from your wife, from your son that you've collected over the years that have followed you. The same table and chairs. The same blue pajamas. As you hug your 4-year-old son in your most recent home, the one that you left at the very beginning of this journey. And as you hug him, begin to pull away a little bit, there's a deep cough from your son.
Click Clack is gonna thump his back, try to help him bring up whatever he can.
You pat him on the back, try and get up as much of that mucus as you can. And after a big, hefty cough, you can hear that his breathing has opened up a bit, that he's stopped wheezing as much, and that seemed to really help him open up. And he, smiles up at you, and he's like, "Thank you."
Love you.
"Love you." And snuggles up into you and rubs his beak up against your beak. He starts to go back to playing on the repaired carpet that that was once destroyed, that you did your best to repair and carry on with you. It's about half its size that it used to be, but it's still perfect. Still perfect. Your son goes and plays with toys, and he's enjoyed his whole life. What do you feel like Click Clack is feeling in these moments as he's reliving his best and his worst moments, knowing that this is a dream, that even though it is a dream, this is his past?
He feels lost. Growing up in the cold like he did, he never really gave much of a thought to his future until he met Tank. And after meeting her, realizing that maybe he could have more in his life, and deciding to run away together, start a family. But now she's gone. His son's halfway out the door. He's trying his best to keep him here, but he doesn't know what he's doing. Tink was always the one with the plans. But he knows this isn't the end yet. It can't be. The end is when she comes back and Beef is healthy. And they get to be that family. And he gets to see his son grow up, find his own wife, have his own kid.
In this moment, as you are feeling lost, but also reaffirming the journey ahead, the purposes you have in this life, that you fought so hard to get to this point. You didn't know how much happiness leaving the commune could bring. Yes, it's hard being on your own. Being a parent on your own is hard. You're never ready for the loss of a loved one, leaving you alone with a child who, above all things, also unwell. This is curveball after curveball, but this is most exciting part of life that you have gotten to live. It's been downright shit, absolute garbage in most moments, but there are these moments of beauty, and as you start to manifest and think about the journey is not over until Beep is well and Tink is home, the room around you starts to shift as daylight starts to pour in windows of your home. The home expands. Your living room is covered in this glittering gold speckles that just float through the air. Your living room is twice the size it was when you left it. Your kitchen is stocked with food, and trinkets are just all over the walls. There's the sound of laughter and feet running up and down the halls, and you hear Tink off in the distance, kind of chastising Beep as you watch a older version of your son walk into the room. It's about 10 at this point. He too is covered in a glittering gold of possibilities. Give me an insight check in this moment.
That's a perfect.
Oh my god! Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Alright. Hold on. Calm down. Alright. We're good. Okay. Wow. In this moment, Click Clack realizes he is seeing a possible future before him. On a nat 20, he realizes this shimmering gold of possibility is a success of this mission. The shimmering gold reminds you of Nuna's grace, the flower that you're searching for, the gold patterns that kind of float and come from this flower. It matches, it feels like that energy. This feels like a future in which you won. You watch as your 10-year-old son, healthy, fit, stout, strong like his mother, comes bursting in, and you just hear, "Dad!" And he runs up and just like wraps his arms around your waist as another smaller Kenku comes running out behind, and you hear, "Dad!" And they run up and wrap their arms around your leg. And as you try and search for a name for this other one, it doesn't It's like a blank in your memory. It's like an unknown, a possibility, a future of anything could be possible in this moment. But a future of growing love and stability. You watch as the last person exits from the side of your home, your wife, Tink. A future in which you found your wife and she's alive and she's well. She just smiles at you. Like she smiled at you back at the commune. The same deep love.
Oh, he wants this to be real. He wants to wake up and have this be his life now.
As you look out onto this beautiful, growing, loving family, this peace, this comfort, this serenity, you actually feel comfortable here. That this is a true peace. And you feel like that in this moment, that though you have gone through absolute extraneous difficulties and trial after trial after trial, that there is a purpose here in what you're doing. That you may be separated from making newer memories like the ones that you experienced for just a short while, but the possibilities of making endless memories in safety are here, shown to you in this moment. You sit and you bask in this morning sun, surrounded by your family, surrounded by your loved ones, by Tink, by Beep, by another young child. As the sun starts to slowly creep up further and further into your home, almost reaching your eyes. You feel like your body is getting a little heavier and heavier in this moment. You feel like this dream, this wonderland that you've found here in this moment is ending. Is there anything you want to do before you wake up?
Click Clack is going to take one of Tank's hands in both of his, and he's just going to squeeze it, and he's going to look at her, and he's just going to say, "Wait for me."
She looks at you and she says, "Always." As the sun starts to shine more and more on this scene, the blinding light of the morning sun overtaking this moment as your eyes flutter open in Cap Creek. And this is where we're going to end our 1v1.
Oh.
Big
fuck you
emotion.
little bastard.
I'm so sorry, but also I'm not.
No, you're not.
I know I'm not.
I'm not either.
It was so good. I'm gonna cry. I'm crying. I'm okay. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this incredible tale of Thursday's Child, Click Clack, and joining us on another iteration of the Cap Creek Chronicles. Please, 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 if you would absolutely love to listen to more and find out more about future campaigns, please follow us on all of our social media platforms. Listen for all of our podcast content on wherever you get your podcasts. Search up Queers and Spears, World of Saluna, and you will be able to find all of our delicious, delicious content. Thank you, absolutely everybody, for listening in, and I am have a great rest of your night. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye.